Welcome to Your Food Business Success. This podcast is for early stage entrepreneurs in the packaged food industry ready to finally turn that delicious idea into reality. I'm your host, Sari Kimbell. I have guided hundreds of food brand founders to success as an industry expert and business coach, and it's gotta be fun. In this podcast, I share with you mindset tools to become a true entrepreneur and run your business like a boss. Interviews with industry experts to help you understand the business you are actually in, and food founder journeys so you can learn what worked and didn't work and not feel so alone in your own journey. Now let's jump in. Well, hello there. Welcome back to the podcast. Oh my gosh, you guys are going to get me full tilt. I have all the energy right now. I just finished the Go Big in 2023 Future Self workshop, and I just could not be more proud of myself and everybody who showed up. We had so many people on live. It was so fun to see all of you. If you joined me, and you can still get the replay. If you're in food business success, it is in your library. And if you are not, and you purchase the workshop for $19, come on, then it is uploaded and you'll get the email. So you can still go and get the replay. Go to foodbizsuccess.com/future. But seriously, I just could not be more proud of myself for putting together amazing content. It just came really easily. And I just love feeling in alignment. I mean, there was laughter, there was tears. Literally, I cried. That's who I am. And I just decided I was going to show up completely me, completely authentic. And that is how I want to be showing up more and more, which does mean sometimes I have a moment. Like when I reflect back on myself 10 years ago, and I showed a photo of me 10 years ago and where I am now, and it just fills me with so much compassion and so much gratitude for my past self for hooking me up. And I'm starting to get a little bit emotional now about it. We're going to move on. So anyway, and then I posted, I just was like, what the heck? I'm feeling bold. So I posted a little reel of me celebrating, doing a dance to one of my favorite songs, Treat Yourself by Meghan Trainor, and just celebrating the effort and the energy and the connection and the great questions and the light bulbs that people got from that call. Because I want you to go after big goals in 2023. I want you to be excited and motivated, but what we don't want is the push method, the New Year's resolution method, where we lose steam and then we beat the crap out of ourselves and we grit and grind and it feels terrible. That is not what we're doing here. We are doing the desire method, the pull method, the future self method, where we are looking ahead at our future self and we're saying, how does he or she get there? And what do we do? And like, we can approach it from a place of fun and ease and joy and adventure and curiosity and just so much more that feels so much better. And then we want to keep doing it. So cool. Anyway, moving on from that, it's probably the best one I've done yet. And I've done a lot of great workshops, so very proud of myself. Today's episode is all about creating a rich life. And you may be saying to yourself, but Sari, I don't have the money to create a rich life. And that may just be a fact, but I want to offer that we can actually create a rich life first in our minds, in our thoughts. And actually, and this is part of what I taught on this workshop, is that we have to create it first in our minds. We have to feel it. We have to believe it in order to attract it. And this isn't just like the secret law of attraction. There is real science behind actually feeling it ahead of time, feeling the emotions ahead of time. So much of the time we want to get the goal, achieve the thing, because then we're going to feel abundant or successful or freedom or contribution. And if you follow Joe Dispenza's work, which I highly recommend, he has done brain scans, science around people changing the way that they think and feeling that emotion ahead of time. So it's not about creating some amount of money to feel rich. And I would even offer that, think about like maybe when you were in your 20s and you were like, oh my gosh, if I just made $50,000 a year, I would be rich. And then you get there and you're like, well, actually, it's 100,000. Oh, well, actually, it needs to be XYZ in my bank account, right? And so in order to actually feel rich, when you do make the money, when you create the abundance, you have to create it first. You have to feel it first, believe it first in your mind. And I know that sounds crazy, but I promise you it is the case. And I am so proud of myself. I actually put up a slide in this workshop of me 10 years ago, and it was not something I had originally planned. It was something the morning of that just came to me, and I was like, I feel like this is important, and I didn't even really know what I was going to say about it. And I also put up an image of me today, and it kind of brought me to tears. Honestly, I had some tears, a little vulnerability on this workshop. But just looking at those photos, and it wasn't the weight, and it wasn't the husband, who was awesome. He's a great guy. It wasn't anything external. But I look at the photos of that woman in 2012 versus me now in 2022. And it's the inside stuff. It's my general well-being. It's my enthusiasm for life. It's feeling rich now. And if you had asked me then, I would have talked about scarcity and feeling anxious all the time and unhappy and unfulfilled and what's my purpose and all of those things, right? It wasn't a very lovely existence. And now my experience of the world is so incredible. I am having the most amazing experiences, both in my personal life, right? I jumped out of an airplane. I've walked on coals. I've had the most amazing connections and friendships this year. And working with all of you and my one-on-one clients and switching to a coaching model has just been incredible. So I'm loving my life, and it is a rich life. I believe that now, that whatever amount of money I make, I can live a rich life. And a tool that I want to offer is what I call a dream jar. And I actually got this concept from my dear friend, Judith Gatan, and she was on my podcast in August. So you can go and listen to her. But here's the wild part. So she had an episode on August 16th. I'll always remember that because that was my birthday. And I had COVID, and it was not a great day. I mean, it was okay, but wasn't feeling amazing. But I listened to her episode called The Dream Jar. And she got this concept from other people, but I'll just attribute it to her because that's really where I got it from. But basically, it's a jar of your choosing, something beautiful to look at. And then you take slips of paper, and as you are expanding your mind of what's possible and you're daydreaming about living a rich life, whatever that looks like to you. And let's just be clear, rich is money, it's experiences, it's buying things, but it's also your time. It's also your relationships. And oftentimes when I think about having a rich life, I think about paying money to get back more of my time. Or I think about how can I increase the connection quality in my life to feel the love and, just those amazing good feelings. And that doesn't cost any money, right? And it's also my health. That's a big piece of feeling rich, right? There's a saying that a healthy person has 1,000 wishes, and an unhealthy person has just one. So in any case, I'm listening to this podcast and I'm like, I'm going to do that. It's my birthday. I really love this idea of a dream jar. I want to like just delight in some future wishes, right? Of like what's possible in my life. And I'm thinking like, okay, I got to go find a receptacle, a jar, and I need to tear up some pieces of paper. What do I want that to look like? And I'm thinking about it, and no joke, the door knocks and there's a package at my door. And it's from my wealth coach who I hired. Shout out to Robin. I hired her in August, and she sent me like birthday / client welcome gift. And it was a wishing jar. Like it was more like this glass thing. And then it had these slips of paper in them that said wishes on one side and thanks, kind of all on the front. But like, anyway, it's kind of decorated. And you'll see the photo of it here if you look at the podcast image. And I was like, OMG. I just like manifest. I said, I want to do a wishing jar, dream jar. And it literally showed up on my door that day. It was wild. And it was so funny because I recorded the podcast with Judith that day. And I was like, you're never going to believe this. So I decided actually to create client gifts for my current clients, this same dream jar. And I went to a local potter who's actually a vendor at my winter farmers market. So it was perfect. And I asked her to create this kind of custom size wood bowl, right, out of clay. And she did it in my brand color, this purple, which I love. So some of you have received this, and I know that amazing things are going to be created if you use this dream jar. So here's how it works. Think about things, connections, experiences, time that you want to experience in your life. And it could be way down the road, or it could just be something right now. I have everything in here from a first class flight and experience to Bali with my stepmom. We have been talking about this for a while, and I am determined to figure out how to do that with a first class flight. I have an amazing pair of black heels that are comfortable and I love. I have goals for food business success. I have a dream of 200 members, new members in 2023. I have the amount of clients that I want to have. I have my big dream of creating $4 million in wealth by 2025 and having fun. I just have like lots of little things too. Like here's one that just came up this weekend. And this concept of a rich life was actually from my friend Kristen, who we were up at a planning retreat for the end of the year this last weekend. So shout out to my dear friends, Trisha, Andra, Ashley, and Kristen, who all made the weekend so amazing. But she was talking about a rich life and creating that for you. And what would that mean? Like, how could you start doing something now that signal to your brain, like, I do live a rich life? Again, we have to start feeling it now. And we can do that by doing small things. And so what came up for me was, I need some more sleep. I have been getting up at 5:30 a.m. on weekdays for 4 years, and I'm so proud of myself for that. It is a standard that I set. It was something where I noticed I was being a little lazy. I was sleeping in till 7:30, not waking up with a morning routine, having no real direction in the morning. It just wasn't good. And there was a book out at the time about like a monk's life or something. And he talked about how you can just keep getting up a little bit earlier, like work your way up to 5 a.m. so that you can create this morning time for health, like working out, for meditation, for writing. And I love the concept of it and I embraced it. And it definitely helped me create a lot of value in my business. But I was like, it's been a thing. I've held myself to this standard, and I'm just realizing maybe it's getting a little bit older or where my business is a lot more sustainable. It's not nearly the hustle. I've also shifted my mindset a lot through coaching tools and about like kind of what's possible about being productive, and that I have these definitions of like, I'm productive if I start work at 8 a.m. and I finish work at 5 p.m. And it's like questioning that, like, is that really true? And could I be more productive in shorter amounts of time in my day and work less? That's interesting. Is that possible? So when Kristen asked what makes a rich life for you, I mean, there were things like fresh flowers, and I buy myself flowers every week. It could be paying somebody to clean your house. That's a rich life. And I started doing that this year as well. It could be taking lunch for yourself, like having 30 minutes where you just sit and you breathe and you pause, or like a morning coffee routine where you take 10 minutes instead of rushing. You're like, let me just breathe and enjoy this and delight in it. That could be a rich life for you. It could be spending time with somebody. It could be having 2 hours of unstructured time that you can work on your business. So for me, getting back to the weekend, I was like, I really would love, like, a rich life to me would be sleeping in until 6:30 or 7. And like, I notice on weekends, that's when my body naturally wakes up. And I really resisted it. I was like, I don't think that's possible, because all my mindset drama about being productive and being a good entrepreneur, and this is my standard. But I started to question it. And fortunately, I'm in a room with all coaches, so they're coaching me on it, of like, is that true? Like, would it be possible? And so that's a really great example of something you could put into your dream jar, because maybe it can't happen right now. And maybe it's something you just have to like put in, and you start opening your mind to maybe it's possible. And I thought about it a lot this weekend. I was like, I don't have to do it every day, but what if it's possible for me to start creating that 2 days a week? And so I have some client calls in the mornings on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I asked my clients, I said, hey, would you be able to move this to the afternoon, or could we find a little bit later time? And it was so funny because they were both like, yeah, actually that works better for me. And I thought it was going to be a huge problem. And so I just asked, right? And I just put it out there like, hey, for 2023, could we move this? And I'm starting to wrap my mind around, what would that look like if I didn't start until 9? What? I can still do my morning routine, and I'm going to have thoughts about I can be productive in a shorter amount of time. It doesn't mean I'm going to work later. I'm still going to end at my usual time. And what happens is it's actually a brain hack. So this isn't about just sitting around and thinking about it and then creating it, but it's actually a brain hack in that your brain is a prediction making machine. It wants to be right. And you can only create to the level of what you believe is possible for you, to the edge of your identity, your self-concept. And so we have to be willing to push our self-concept outside of what we currently think is possible. Possibility drops is what I love, this term of like, could I get up at 6:30? How could I make that possible? Could a good entrepreneur, quote in quotes, a good CEO, a good woman, a good mother, a good spouse? Like, could you do something that you just feel like would bring you such a rich life? And your brain will actually go to work trying to make it true. It's also our reticular activating system, where when you tell your brain that something's important, it's going to actually start looking for that to be true. It's going to start noticing where that's possible. It's wild. Everything I put on in my dream jar, and I've already made some things come true. So here's what you do. You take these slips, and here's the deal. If you want one of these slips, I created these pads that have 100 slips in each one that have the word wishes and thanks on the front. And then on the back, it's blank, so you can write your dreams down. And if you want one of these pads, I will mail it to you free at no charge. And you just need to send me an email at hello@foodbizsuccess.com and just say, I want a wishing pad, and then include your address and full name, and I will mail one to you. How cool is that? Because I want you to go and do this right away as you prepare for 2023. Give yourself this gift. Having a dream jar is not like indulgent. It's not selfish. You're not doing anything wrong. Like, you actually need to do this. You need to expand what's possible. And so here's how it works. You take the slips, and I don't think you should do it all at once. Like, don't put 100 in there. Maybe start with 10 and just be like, what would I really love for my life? What experiences or what things, what time, what connection, what relationships do I want in my life? And just as they come up for you, write one on the back of the slip and fold it in half, and then find something that you'd love to look at, a jar or any, vase, something like that. And then add it to your dream jar and put this somewhere where you see it often. It could be on your dresser, by your bed, or I put it on my stand in my office right next to my chair. So every morning I pull out one or two of these, and I just delight in it. I just sit there and I'm like, that would be so cool. I can't wait for that to happen. And I'm almost like, I'm picturing it ahead of time. I'm giving thanks. I'm living in that richness. So I'm going to just pull one out here really quick. Ooh, a custom painting by Lisa. I have this artist. I can't pronounce her last name, but I have this artist that I follow and I love her. And I have a wish to buy a custom sized painting that I put above my couch. And so I don't like beat myself up for it. It's not like, no punishment here, right? We're not like, like I want that so bad and I can't have it. No, I'm like, I pull it out and I look above my couch and I just see it there and I just delight in it ahead of time, knowing that it's coming. I don't know when. There's no rush, right? Because I can feel the amazingness of it now. I don't actually need the painting to feel the gratitude and the experience of it. And to me, that is a rich life right there, right? And I will create it. It will happen. I promise. And I believe that 100%. And so I get to delight in it now. So now it's your turn. Email me, request a wishing pad of slips, and I will send that to you. Or you can just cut up your own pieces of paper, make something yourself, and get this started. This is a great time as we are looking at Christmas and then the end of the year. Give yourself this gift. It will change everything. Just try it for a couple of months and see what starts happening. And when a wish, a dream comes true, I want you to pull it out of your jar and I want you to put it somewhere. It could be on your fridge. It could be like a bookmark in a book. And I want you to remind yourself that you create your dreams. You are making it happen and you can dream bigger and bigger. And I want that for you in 2023. What makes you feel rich and what can you start doing now? Put it in your dream jar, start making it happen. Ask yourself, how is this possible? I'm going to start getting up at 6:30 on Tuesdays and Thursdays, which is going to feel amazing. All right. Thanks so much for being here with me this year, listening to the podcast. I'm feeling so much gratitude and love for all of you and Food Business Success and Fuel members and my one-on-one clients. It's just amazing to do this work in the world. And I love entrepreneurship because it forces you to think bigger. It forces you to get out of your small life and to start doing this work, to start dreaming big. And then you're going to have to go and start taking actions that push you out of your comfort zone. And that's why I love supporting you in entrepreneurship, specifically to create your packaged food business. Just a reminder that if you've been thinking about joining Food Business Success, you only have 2 days left to join in 2022. I am closing the program for new members until later in January. So you're going to have some time before you can join, and things are going to change a little bit in there. So I promise you, now is the best time to get going. Change your identity to be not one of a person who's going to wait and put it off until sometime in the future, but do it now. Take advantage of this opportunity. That is what business owners, real badass CEOs do. So we make decisions and we take advantage of opportunities and we go get support and community. So don't put this off. You have 2 days. It closes on December 22nd, and I would love to see you inside. Let's start 2023 off with a bang and you are ready to go, not waiting until you get yourself ready to go in January. Until next time, have an amazing week. The smartest thing you can do as an entrepreneur is to invest in a who to help you with the how, to speed up your journey and help you skip the line. When you are ready for more support and accountability to finally get this thing done, you can work with me in 2 ways. Get me all to yourself with one-on-one business coaching, or join Food Business Success, which includes membership inside Fuel, our community of food business founders that includes monthly live group coaching calls and so much more. It's one of my favorite places to hang out, and I would love to see you there. Go to foodbizsuccess.com to start your journey towards your own food business success.